Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Megan, and I'm here to talk about my last 5 library books. Okay, let's jump right into it. I think I'm in focus. This is my problem all the time. Alright, let's jump into it. The first book that I read was The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. This is the cover. This was a World War II historical fiction read. I rated it 3 stars. Let's just be honest, I rated all of these books 3 stars this last 3 weeks. I'm on a 3-star kick, apparently. So this was a 3-star read, and that's just me being not a very big historical fiction fan. I mean, I like reading World War II history books every once in a while, so, but they never usually really like wow me. So this one was interesting. I really liked the characters because they were 2 very strong female main characters, and like they were bad bitches, man. Like they're out doing stuff. And it was really interesting because like it focused on a part of World War II, actually World War I, that I didn't really know about, in women who were spies. So one of the main characters was a spy in World War I, and like she went through some gnarly stuff. I mean, this was loosely based on facts. I think all the characters they're all fiction, but they were loosely based on real people. And so she went through some gnarly stuff. Then come our main character, and she finds our second main character, and then together they work together because they're trying to find someone who's missing. So it was really interesting to see, like, and it would flash back and forth between the 2 points of view. So you would have our main character in like 1949, but then you would have the other main character, but set during World War I, so like 1919, I think it was. I don't know, but it's somewhere along there, and you would see like you get her life, and then her, like, both of their lives, and then you see how it interweaves between the two. So it was really fascinating and really fast paced and really good, but still just a 3-star read for me because it didn't completely wow me. The next book I read was When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. This cover that everyone knows about. And I've seen everywhere. This novel, I rated 3 stars. I probably would have rated it higher if I had read this at a different time in my life. It's very interesting when books come into your lives, but this hit me in a way that you wouldn't expect it to hit me, because this is about two young adults. They're both 18, just finished high school, and they're both Indian, and they're both were raised very culturally, but have very different views of how they want to live their own lives. So our main character, Dimple, isn't really interested in finding the ideal Indian husband and getting married, settling down. She wants to focus on her career. Whereas Rishi, he is very traditional, and he comes up to her, and the first line he ever says to her is like, "Oh, hi, future wife," and she's like, "Who the hell are you?" Hence the coffee. She spills coffee on him. It's actually it was funny. And it was interesting to watch the 2 of them come together, because she's like, "I don't want you," but he's like, but we're supposed to get married. So it was very interesting to read this. This was really, like, my 3-star rating is very personal in why I rated it 3 stars, and I'm not going to get into it here. But definitely would have been 4 stars if it didn't hit me in a different way. I don't know how to describe this without going into details, but we're just gonna leave it there. If you know me, you know. The next book I read was Solo by Kwame Alexander with Mary Rand Hess. So this was a novel in verse, and usually novels in verse I find very hard-hitting. They're very they're raw. There's just something about them that really is striking. This one did not do that for me. This one was just, I think it wasn't the writing itself. It was the characters. I found the characters just very selfish in all of their motives, and like there was nothing that was really redeeming them. And I was like, I don't care. I'm like, I just can you go away? Um, the main character, I mean, I understand his wanting to find himself, and like he learned like he's his dad is a famous musician, but his dad's also like a washed up musician now, and he's so tired of his dad's bullshit, so he's like, I don't want to deal with you anymore. Then he finds out a family secret, and he's just like, oh, like I need to go find myself, basically. And that's the premise of the book. So the book is split in two sections. So you have the first part, which is set in Hollywood, the second part, which is set in Ghana. And the first part was so slow. It was mostly just basically set up for the second half. The second half was a lot better, and there were more redeeming characters in the second half. I liked a lot of the characters in the second half. There's like a cute little like 5-year-old girl. She is so adorable. But that ending, the ending will kill you. No, it won't kill you. It will just smash you, because I was not prepared. I was like, ugh. But yeah, this was only 3 stars because it really didn't hit me. The ending hit me, but I mean the rest of it didn't really hit me that much. And I wanted more from the characters, and I just didn't get it. So 3 stars on that one. Then the next book I read was Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston, which is the 3rd book in that Once Upon a Con, that rhymes, trilogy. I believe it's a trilogy. I don't think there's any more books after this one. And again, 3-star read, because this book follows a character we met in the second book, and I didn't like him then, and I don't like him now. This was supposed to be his like his redemption arc or whatever, and I could care less. I didn't need a redemption arc from him. He was like, when he was introduced, he was a shitty person, and then he came and now he has his own book. I was like, no thank you. So basically the main character is an actor. I don't know where that accent came from. He's an actor, and he's, I guess, because he's so known as being a bad boy and doing all these like reckless things or whatever, so his parents are like, no, we're gonna send you to this bumfuck nowhere. What is with me and swearing today? But he's sent to this no man's land place, and he's like, what am I supposed to do here? I don't want to be here. He's just so unlikable. And then obviously he meets a girl, and things begin to change, obviously. And this was a true Beauty and the Beast retelling. Like, Poston used all of like every element from that story is in here, like everything. And I'm just like, that's interesting. And then the adult characters, because I've been talking about the adult characters in this series quite a bit, because they're either really dumb, non-existent, or they're like there, and I want more of them because they actually sound like they'd be interesting. This one, they were there. Oh, they were there. But the one is always going out for groceries. It was like, it mind boggled me. I'm like, that was one thing that stood out. I'm like, every time he would come into the room, he's like, I gotta go get groceries, and then would leave. And then the other main character, the girl's father, he was, I liked him as like a character, but I mean, I feel like he could have been a little bit smarter. I mean, I get why he did what he did, because it was to move the plot, but it was just really dumb, because I'm like, aren't you an adult? Don't you know that that's what happens? But anyways, that's besides the point. So this was just a 3-star read. It was fast-paced, it was small, so I was hoping for more from that one too, but it is what it is. Then the last book I read was A Carnival of Snackery Diaries from 2003 to 2020 by David Sedaris. So this is part 2 of those diaries that I read the last time, 1977 to 2002. This is the second half. This one I found was different. Again, 3-star. But this one was different from his first. This one I found funnier, and I mean, there were moments where he was more crass than I was anticipating. I was like, oh, okay. The first one was more like literally just journal entries, and this one felt more like he was performing. Like, I believe he's a stand-up comic. I think he does stand-up as well as being an author, and maybe I should have looked that up before I started filming, but it's besides the point. And so yeah, I could definitely tell that his writing has changed, and so it's almost like he knew he was gonna publish this and like changed the way he wrote his entries. It's very interesting. I don't know how to describe it, but there was a different tone for this book than there was for the first book. So I'm like, all right, interesting. I mean, there were a few laugh out loud moments where I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of funny. But the other one I was barely laughing, and I'm like, I don't find any of this funny. So I'm like, there was definitely more going on in this one. I mean, this covered 2 presidential elections and the pandemic, and I was like, interesting, because I completely forgot about the Trump era. It's gone from my mind. I don't think about it. It's gone. Bye bye. And so he's obviously he was talking about it, and I was like, huh, interesting, and just his thoughts on it. I mean, he's obviously opposed to Trump, but it was just really interesting to read. It was interesting to read because he was opposed to it, but his dad loved Trump, so it was just like, I couldn't even imagine having parents who were supportive of that man. So yeah, that was interesting. So those were my thoughts on this one. And I just smacked myself in the face. Those were my last 5 library books. I'm not even attempt to pick them up because they're heavy, they're big. So that is all I have for you guys today. Until my next video, in which I'm not sure if it's going to be a library prediction or it's going to be a book haul. It's going to be one of the two. I'm just not sure which one it is yet. But until then, like, subscribe, comment, do your thing, and I will see you all whatever I post next. So thanks and bye guys.